Hello, everybody. It's Catfish Tyler. I'm sorry that I'm late to the dinner table, if you will. I told everybody that I was going to eat my shorts, and so if I didn't end up going over $10 at the close today. And if you watched my live broadcast, well, I had to not only eat my words but eat my shorts. So if you want to see that, that's kind of was an interesting thing to have happen. But I did, in fact, eat my shorts, and you can see it if you go to my last live broadcast. But I wanted to say to you that I had made a technical thing about that, saying, well, wait a minute, the day doesn't actually end until 8 o'clock. But for those that have been waiting for so long to see me eat my shorts, I went ahead and did that. And then I said, hey, if it doesn't do it again at 8, I'll come back. Well, I got something more important to share with you, and it's right here and it's right now. And it's about this possibility of SoFi and Apple partnership. Okay, so let me put this display up here, and I'm not going to play this with the volume turned up. I'm going to just play this. You can watch it, and I'll interpret, or actually, I'm going to read the credits on this. So this is on CNBC. It was an interview, and he says, "Man," and this guy's name is Malcolm Etheridge. He says, "It sure looks like you picked a good pick in SoFi." And he says, "How does SoFi look for 2024?" He said, "Well, they've moved into the mortgage loan business, and they have a big student loan business. 2024 looks great for SoFi. This is the first year in the 12-year history that they will tiptoe into profitability, which is a good deal for as far as courting in institutional investors, but a big deal from the regulatory perspective to reduce capital reserve requirements, which will allow them to expand into places they have not been able to yet." He says, here's another question. We asked for another pick. He says, "You said you're sticking with SoFi. No other picks." He says, "What makes you so bullish?" He says, "Look for others to partner with SoFi in 2024. He said, "There's so much competition in this space. Why are you so hot on SoFi?" He said, "Well, 2024 is one of the pieces with mortgages and student loans and offering deposit products." And then he says, "But one thing that goes under the radar is the banking sector that allows others to white label their banking service. I look for Apple, for example, who wants to push further into the fintech without tacking on their infrastructure required and getting the permitting," he says. All right. And he says, somebody like that, maybe not Apple, but somebody like that, he says, "I see them looking to partner with SoFi in 2024 to get there," he says, "faster." And he says, maybe a bigger player, a bigger partner. We have to consider that they're all wanting to buy into this segment. You are looking at insider buys by the CEO, CFO. Why is that important to investors? He says, well, for one thing, nothing shows support or confidence in the company like the CEO actually purchasing shares of that company personally every time this company has dipped below the $7 threshold. I notice he said that the CEO picks up a lot of shares. I don't know why, but that $7 mark is a key support level for him. And he even said triple digits. "I would like to keep an eye out there," he says. "You don't sound like you have any downside for this stock. Would you advise people to buy more shares right now or just hold what they have?" Well, I'm going to tell you that this gentleman here does say that it's so hot right now, it's a little bit scary. Okay. But I'm not going to drag it on into that any longer. I got some other things I want to show you. Folks, be aware of the fact that SoFi is gathering institutions, just like he said in that article. As a matter of fact, institutional ownership has now gone from the middle of December on the 14th of December, folks. On the 14th of December, I'll see if I can get this to come up where you can see it. Unfortunately, it won't. But I have here on a piece of paper on the 14th of December, there was only on this stock 716 institutions. Okay, you're talking 2 weeks ago. 716. Guess how many have come in 2 weeks? It's up to 733 institutions now, people. 733. Are you kidding me? You're talking about 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 institutions. Folks, have you ever heard the saying, follow the money? You better be following this money. You better be following all these institutions pouring into this stock before they make this announcement that they're going to be profitable. They're not even waiting, folks. They're not going to wait for that big spike on that day when pensions and institutions, once they break into profitability on this next earnings call on January the 29th, they're not waiting. They're already coming in on this stock. And this is part of the reason the price dropped today, because this morning, folks, there were only 728 institutions. So 5 more got in today while the price conveniently happened to drop 2%. All right. Meanwhile, the stock is up 40% over a 6 week period. Okay. So you need to be aware of this. These institutions, they want in on this thing before it runs, but they don't like to buy in at the highs. Okay. And what you saw today with the market and the rundown on SoFi today, to me seemed like, oh my gosh, they just wanted in. And I wouldn't be surprised if more. I even said during my live broadcast today, don't be surprised to see more institutions coming in while this is being done. Sure enough, it happened. 5 more institutions came in. All right. So one of the things I had on my thing I want you to be aware of is that we cannot worry about the NASDAQ here being down less than 0.5% when it's been on such a massive run. And look at the Dow today. It actually recovered from way down 140 points and almost went back to green. So, folks, just a transfer of money, people moving money around. It's the very end of the year. Some people cash out entirely. They do that. And so this was actually, I thought, a very strong comeback for the NASDAQ. And as I told you before, in the long term, when you look at the NASDAQ over the longer term, over the 6 month chart, today is looking gorgeous to see just a little pullback today, right here after this 6 month chart I'm showing you. Look how strong this is. Even that little dip right there, and the next pop into this nice consolidation right here. And so this little tiny pullback on the NASDAQ, I think is very encouraging for a nice year going forward. Many people are talking about this as well. Part of the reason I think this is going to be a very good year for us going forward is because it always is traditionally from the 1st of January into February or so. But now we're going to have a new president coming into play. And folks, I think the market is already starting to see the effects. I think interest rates dropping next year 3, maybe 4 times is definitely going to propel this SoFi stock even higher. And it's another catalyst. But I want you to be aware of another video that was on YouTube today by Uncle, I can't remember his name is. Hold on a second here. Let me go back to my history again. And right here, and it says right here, and Uncle Bruce bringing up this question: is it possible that GME could buy $1 billion worth of SoFi stock? The reason he mentions this is because he just got word that this company, in fact, GME, has allocated to the owner of the company, the guy who runs the whole thing and happens to own a bunch of shares of Apple as well. He is saying GME could buy with the money the company has just given over to Connor, I think his name, the owner. They've given over to him $2 billion to dispense at his desire, whatever they've approved it, like they did a vote on it and they said, here you go. And he is thinking that there's a very good possibility that GME, Connor, could actually start buying up millions of shares, just like he did with GME stock, to the point that he is now the largest private owner of GME stock, holding $13 million worth, I believe it was, or something like that. Oh, no, 13% of the company, which puts him at a valuation of about $5 billion. But according to what he says here, it's possible that if GME were to go in and start buying up massive amounts of shares in this SoFi stock, because they see and maybe even know already, he might even have some information from Apple about what the other guy just said today, and it's all just starting to kind of come together here, isn't it, folks? A possibility. Now, I don't know that this is going to happen or come to fruition, but I do know it is a possibility because he's bringing it up. And he's got his finger on the pulse, this gentleman here, in case you don't know about this gentleman. Stock Markets with Bruce on YouTube. Go check him out. I highly suggest 3 people that you should subscribe to: Trending Stocks on YouTube, Stock Goat on YouTube, and this gentleman right here, Stocks stock markets with Bruce, and got a little feeling here that there's something brewing with the possibility of GME owner and largest stock owner and running the company that he might be buying into SoFi with all this extra $1 billion. And if he does, he says, folks, this could really be another big catalyst. Okay. We've got a lot of things brewing around this stock right now. Now, I want to briefly show you something else about this stock, SoFi, that many of you might want to know. Okay. I think it's important. So stick around for just a second, because when it comes to the 5-year chart or the maximum chart on this stock, and some people are saying to themselves, okay, if this thing has a parabolic move with either an announcement about Apple or if it has a GME that people it gets out there that they are acquiring shares of SoFi, if that were to take place, folks, there is a possibility of a major run. And you might think by looking at this max chart on Robinhood or on Yahoo that the highest price it's ever reached on here, as it says on the chart, January 25th of 21, was $25.14. But I have news for you. And again, I owe this to Stock Goat, who I learned this on his last broadcast. I want to show you something that now it was on Twitter, now X, and this was posted by Stock Goat back in December. Okay. And I'm going to show you here in a second. It says on December 27th, he posted that the all time high for SoFi is not 25 something, that it actually on the February the 1st, 2021, it it opened at 25.78 and hit a high of 28.26. Well, what does that mean? Well, for one thing, it means you might not want to consider on the day that it does pop or it starts to explode that it's going to stop at 25.14 because it's already gone as high as this. But see, they don't want you to know this on the Yahoo page. They'd rather you just think it only got to 25. So that's where you put your sell order. Okay. They'd rather you just put your sell order in. And by the way, Bitcoin is taking off in the after hours. In case you didn't know, the thing's going ballistic here. It's really rocking in here. I'm going to go ahead and show you here down here, just so you know what's going on over the last hour on this stock. Now, you can see they've run it back down, but over the 4-hour chart, man, that thing looks strong, and I'm very glad to see that. But I'm going to go back over here to SoFi again because I want you to see something here. SoFi Technologies, and the reason that I want you to know this is because you need to know that the maximum attained price. See, they want you to put your sell order in at $25 because it's going to hit 25.14 again and stop because that's the highest it's ever been. But I'm here to explain to you folks that that isn't true. So you better reconsider if that's where you were going to put them because it's already hit this number. Another reason that they don't want you to know this about this is because this number runs from 25.78 to 28.26, folks. 28.26 minus 25.78, 28.26 minus 25.78. That's a $2.48 move in one day. And I've already been telling you people there's a very good possibility that SoFi could start spiking in numbers that you would never believe even were achievable. And there's a perfect example of it on that date happening. All right. And they don't want you to know these things. Okay. But you need to know it. All right. Now, I want to say lastly here as I close things out, I've told you folks that not only do I talk about the SoFi stock, and I'm very, very encouraged about what it's going to do. Today marks 1 month away from the earnings call that we're going to announce profitability on, folks. And my stock prediction with SoFi is a gain of 2 to 3% virtually every single day for the rest of this next month until the earnings call comes out. And on that day, I'm not even going to try to limit how high it'll go. I have my sell orders in as high as 35 and 36 and $37. All right. That might seem insane to you folks, but guess what? You do not know once all these institutions, hedge funds, ETFs, pension funds start pouring in on SoFi. There's no way to really grasp how high it could shoot up to. And if you don't have your orders already in place, two problems with that. Number one, then that means your sale orders aren't there and you're just holding them, that means they can be borrowed by the shorts to use against you and I and everybody else in the SoFi community. So everybody put your daggone sale orders up at 25 and 30 and $35. And then one day you might just wake up and see, dadgummit, they were already filled. I'll tell you from my experience with GME, one afternoon it closed on a Friday at $74 and it opened the next day at 140 on Monday. All right. These things don't happen. They happen in the darkness and the cover. These people do things and they make the moves and they'll escape a stock and they'll buy out. They'll start covering their short positions. And the next thing you know, wham, the doggone thing is just out of there. So this is the kind of thing that we've got going on in SoFi right now. It is one of the hottest trending stocks. It's one of the most sought after stocks if you Google searching. I know this already, folks, and you guys need to be aware. Please put your sell orders in high, okay? Put them in at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, all the way up. And instead, put them in at 14, 13, 14, 15, 13, 16, 13, 17, 13, 18, 13. Because at each one of those numbers you sell, there's a chance they'll pull it back a little and you can buy it a little lower. All right. And at the 66s as well. Go ahead and put them in at 14, 66, 15, 66, 16, 66, 17, 66, 18, 66, 19, 66. Do it, folks. Just do it. Put them all in at the 13s and 66s, all the way up into the 20s and 30s, and you won't regret it one day when this thing suddenly pops on some sort of breaking story like Apple. All right. Man, I'm not kidding you, folks, people. This is a serious possibility of this occurring. And if you don't have those orders already in place at those massive numbers, you won't have time to get them on the day it happens. All right. All right. I'm done. I want to thank you all again for being here. I'm very, very grateful for your presence. I appreciate all of your likes, all of your subscriptions lately. My viewership has just gone through the roof lately. And to give you just a quick look here, we're just going to go over here and I can show you. And again, so I can say how much I appreciate everyone who's doing this for me. And the biggest part is you guys are helping me keep this channel alive because my wife, look at this. I've had 171 subscribers come in 28 days. Folks, that's incredible growth on this channel. I've never seen anything like it. And look at my estimated revenue this month, $600. All right. That's incredible, folks. I want to thank you all. And look at this growth rate on my daily views. It's just insane, folks. It's just really starting to come together. And most of it is because of wonderful people like you who are telling your friends about my channel, telling everybody to come on over and join in here. And man, we're getting today on this video, on this video I put up today, I had, I don't know, 1,400 views. The one I put up the other day, 1,800 views just on yesterday's live broadcast. That's it, folks. I'm done for the night. Sorry it took me so long. Sorry I didn't get another pair of shorts for you. But go back and watch the end of my video here that I put up today. It's over on the right here on the screen, right behind my head. So I'm going to move my head over here. Uh-oh, that's not what I want to do. Sorry about that. Excusez-moi, but stupid old me didn't click on me, and I should have just done that, and I can put it over here. Bam. All right. So right here on this video, folks, I had 1,300 today, and that's great for a day at the end of the year. I didn't expect to see that happen, but I just want to thank you all for being here. And then now that I can close this out, we're going to give this one last image for you guys to see, because look at that, folks. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine what happens if that announcement is made that Apple is going to use the services of SoFi to enter the fintech world? Folks, that's exciting stuff. All right. I'm going to say farewell to you now. And again, I appreciate you very much for being here with me. I want to wish you all a very, very happy new year. And we'll be seeing you come Monday morning. I don't know what time I'm going to be able to get up after New Year's Eve festivities, but I tell you what, you can depend on me to be there sometime Monday, and hopefully it'll be before the market opens. All right. But hey, thank you again for being here with me. As always, I'm very gracious and thankful to you. And I want to wish you all a very safe and happy new year. Okay, like I said before, don't worry about yourself. And many people say when they're leaving parties, I say, hey man, be careful driving home. And they're like, oh, I've only had one beer, or I only had this. It's not you that I'm worried about. It's the other drunks out there that overindulged. And you need to watch out for them. Okay, watch out for them, people. Okay. All right, I'm done now. Hey, much happiness for this weekend, a safe one. I wish for you prosperity in all of your financial endeavors. I want to thank you for hitting the like button before you go. And last but not least, I want to make sure that you understand how important it is that I hope that you're surrounded with love because I believe that you deserve it, everyone. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you next year. Bye bye.